In a busy grocery store, a manager humiliates an older stocker for eating a banana before paying, grabbing his badge, and calling it theft. A young bakery clerk risks her job by comping the item, giving him juice, and getting sent home. In the quiet back hallway, she discovers he's managing diabetes, setting off small changes in the store that make future emergencies less cruel. Just a quick note before we begin. Hit like, share this with a friend, and subscribe for more. Also, let me know in the comments which country you're watching from. It always amazes me how far these stories travel. The manager held the banana peel between two fingers so the whole line could see. "That's theft," he said, voice flat but loud, over the beep of scanners and the soft hum of the coolers. His other hand reached for the older man's chest and snapped the plastic badge off the lanyard. The badge skidded across the tile and knocked into a display of gum. People stopped. A child twisted in a cart seat to stare. The man in the green vest swallowed and tried to form words. He went a little grey. The camera above checkout 3 blinked its red light. "Pay or leave," the manager said. "Vest off." Now, Maya heard it over the mixers. She had been slicing lemon loaves in the bakery case, the sugar dusting the glass. She looked up and saw the older stocker with his vest unzipped and his hands open like someone caught. The peel was shiny and stringy, fresh. She knew him only as the guy who faced the cereal aisle, so straight the boxes looked like little soldiers. He worked nights. He didn't talk much. He took the bent carts no one wanted and made them roll quiet. Her probation period was not over. 2 more weeks until she could stop holding her breath. The manager was the person who signed off on it and wrote the schedule. The last time she asked for Saturday off for her kids' recital, he'd given her a look and a shrug. She felt her phone buzz in her apron pocket. A text from her sister about rent. Another from daycare. "Can you pick up early this Friday?" Her brain ran numbers. She could not afford a short check. She could not afford the manager's stories about loss prevention and how one item steals everyone's raise. His hands trembled, not just nerves. The older man's fingers shook like he'd been outside in winter too long. Sweat had beaded on his forehead. His eyes were wide and a little glassy, not offended so much as far away. He leaned his weight against a cart as if the floor were moving. Maya peeled off her gloves and crossed the tile. The edges of the world narrowed. Beep, beep, beep. The smell of citrus from a sliced orange on display. The squeak of a cartwheel that always sang on the turn. She moved to the register, like someone about to step into traffic, and hoped the part of her brain that did buttons would still work. She tapped the screen and hit the store demo code. Her code. It would flag later, and maybe it would bounce back. She didn't care. She scanned the crushed peel. The system didn't like it, so she scanned a banana from the bunch in the impulse rack and hit comp. The total slid to 0. She tore the thin strip of paper and held it up. "Covered for demo," she said. Not loud, not soft. She opened the cooler door at her hip without asking and grabbed an orange juice. She twisted the cap with both hands. She put it into the man's shaking grip and set the receipt on the counter like a ceasefire flag. "You can't just—" the manager started. His jaw clenched. The clipboard under his arm creaked where his fingers pushed. "Your bakery. This is front end. That's not your call." Maya took a breath. She could smell his aftershave and the wet cardboard smell from the bale in the back. "He's fine now," she said. "He's drinking." "Put it on my code." "No," he said. He stepped into her space. He lowered his voice so the line had to lean to hear him. "Step back. Go to your station. I'll handle loss." The older man's throat worked as he swallowed. His hands were still rigid around the bottle. He kept looking at the belt, like if he looked away someone would take it. A woman with a toddler shifted her weight. "It was a banana," she said, half under her breath. Not quite brave enough to meet the manager's eyes. A teenage bagger froze with a stack of paper bags in his arms. "Write me up later," Maya said, "but he eats first." The manager's mouth flattened. "Keys," he said, holding his palm out. He didn't look at the older man, who had taken one long swallow and coughed. "Give me your lane key and your fob. You're done today." She unclipped the ring from her belt loop. The metal was cold. The little black fob with the store logo swung and touched her knuckle before she set it in his hand. Her stomach dropped like an elevator. "Sign here," he said, flipping his clipboard and showing her the write-up line. The words "unauthorized comp" in messy Sharpie. His knee bounced once. He wasn't a monster. He was tired. He had a corporate visit next week. He had a chart in the office with shrink broken down by department and red circles around bakery and produce. She scribbled her name. Her hand looked like someone else's hand. She looked at the older man and found his eyes for the first time. They were watery but steady. He looked embarrassed, like he had walked into the wrong restroom. "Come on," she said to him. "Let's go sit." The manager didn't stop her. Maybe he wanted them off the floor. Maybe he couldn't figure out the next step with a line of restless people and a banana receipt that said 0. He stepped to the register and started scanning someone else's milk. The line moved again. The little red light blinked and blinked. In the back hallway by the milk cooler, she guided him onto a crate. The metal door of the walk-in leaked cold around its edges. Condensation beaded on the latch. Someone had left a broom propped in a corner. The hum back there was deeper, like the store had lungs. He took another long drink. Color started to creep back into his face. He held the bottle with both hands like a small kid. He set it down on the concrete and pressed his palm to his forehead. "You okay to prick?" she asked. She didn't know what else to say. She'd watched her mother do it years ago at their old kitchen table. The strip, the beep, the little sweet smell when the blood hit. She hadn't thought about that in years. He nodded a little. He unzipped his backpack with a zipper sound that sounded too loud. In his open backpack, the blue insulin pen lay on top. A battered meter with a cracked corner sat next to a pack of strips. He pinched his finger and pushed the strip in. The meter peeped and flashed a number that made her breath catch. He winced. "I thought I'd make it to break," he said. His voice came out thin. He looked at her like maybe she would scold him for not planning, like he was a child asking for a bathroom. "Eat," she said, and grabbed the first thing she could reach. A pack of graham crackers from a tray someone had tucked near the back door. She paid for it in her head. Later she'd find a way to ring it. She broke the pack open and put it in his hand. The deli manager stuck his head around the corner. "You off?" he asked, eyes flicking from Maya to the older man to the bottle cap on the floor. "Sent home," Maya said. "Soup?" he said. He didn't wait for an answer. He came back with a small paper cup and a spoon and set it on a crate like a quiet offering. He looked like he wanted to say something else, then didn't. He backed out. They sat there, the two of them, the hum of the coolers steady like road noise. He ate the crackers slowly. The soup steamed up into his face and fogged his glasses. He pushed them up with his knuckle and smiled a little without teeth. Maya watched his hands. They didn't shake as much. The little deep line between his eyebrows eased. She didn't ask him why. She didn't ask him if he had told anyone before he took the banana. She didn't ask him if he had money. Questions felt like guns right then. In his backpack behind the meter, she saw other things when he shifted. A folded letter from the county with a stamp that said hearing date in red. A bus pass with the laminate peeling up. A photo stuck in a handbill that showed him and a girl with pigtails making dumb faces at the camera, her cheeks puffed out, his eyes crossed. "Tio and me," it said in a black marker scrawl. He capped the empty juice and set it neatly on the floor next to his shoe. He held the photo for an extra beat before it slid back into the pocket. "I get shaky sometimes," he said. "Mostly nights. Today came early." He said it like he was confessing to taking a long smoke break. The words were quiet. "Yeah," she said. She didn't tell him about her mother's hands, or the way she'd once sat under a table and watched a sugar low roll through a room like a weather front. She didn't say anything about the look on the manager's face. She just sat there and listened to the hum and the far-off beeps and the crackle of the plastic cup when he squeezed it. Color came back to his cheeks. He wiped the corner of his mouth with his sleeve and looked at the door like he wasn't sure if he should go through it yet. "I can work," he said, as if someone had asked him. "I can. Take 5, she said. "Finish the soup." Her own stomach growled so loud it made him smile. "I'm fine," she said. It wasn't true. The numbers in her head shuffled again, rebelling, but she let them. When he stood, he moved careful, like someone testing ice. He slung the backpack on and clipped his badge to a belt loop because the lanyard was broken. He paused and looked at her. "Thank you," he said. 2 words, plain. They landed heavy and simple between them. On her way out, Maya passed the service desk. A clipboard lay there with a list of names and the word CO in thick letters. Hers had a box by it now. The manager didn't look up when she walked past. He was on the phone, eyes on the computer, his pen tapping. He looked like a man trying to keep water in a bucket with a hole in it. Outside, she breathed cold air, and it hurt a little. She checked her phone. Her sister had sent another text. "Any chance you can cover Wednesday night?" She typed back, "Maybe." She deleted it. She typed, "Got sent home." Then changed it to, "We'll talk." The next day, a plastic bowl appeared by the time clock. Someone had dropped it there, full of clementines and granola bars. No sign at first. Later that week, a sticky note showed up. Take one if you feel shaky. Nobody signed it. A printout taped to customer service read, Employers, if you have a medical emergency related to blood sugar, you may take an item and inform front end ASAP. The font was ugly. It looked like it had been typed by someone in a hurry and printed on a machine that needed a drum change. It was still a piece of paper. It was something. 2 knocks on a shelf became a thing, quiet at first. One stalker to another in aisle 9 when someone went pale. Tap tap. You good? A nod. A minute later a juice bottle would appear like a magic trick. Nobody made a speech about it. It just appeared and stuck. The teenage bagger brought back the older man's lanyard from the floor and fixed it with a new clip he'd bought from the office supply store next door. He didn't make it a moment. He just clicked it on and said, "It was $2," and walked away. The woman with the toddler came through Maya's line a week later when Maya was finally back. "You okay?" she asked, shoving a pack of yogurt toward the scanner, not looking up too long. The toddler gnawing a bagel saw what happened. "Yeah," Maya said. She didn't have a better word. The scanner beeped, and she lost track of the items in a rush, like a song too fast. The manager didn't talk about it. He didn't apologize. He cut her hours the next week, and then gave a couple back after the schedule got ugly and too many people called off. He put a bowl of sugar packets at the end of the break table one day and said, "Corporate wants us to be proactive about safety," like it had been his idea the whole time. She didn't correct him. He was a person in a tie with a chart to fill out. He had his own numbers. Maya's sister stopped by one evening with a bag of rice and stood in the kitchen while Maya told her all of it. Her sister didn't say, "You should have kept your head down." She boiled water and squeezed a lime over the pot like it would fix something. The older man started nodding when they passed in the aisle, just a little dip of the chin. Once he lifted 2 fingers off the cart handle in a half salute. He never said, "I'd repay you," or demanded a specific place to put the gratitude. He showed up and faced the cereal and took the bent carts and made them roll quiet. There was a day when a customer went wobbly near the dairy and the new courtesy clerk sprinted without being told. He came back with a juice and the person drank and the color snapped back. Like a light finding its power, everyone went back to shopping. Nothing to see. It was exactly the kind of nothing that matters. Maya watched the little ripples in the days that followed. A man in produce started keeping a banana in his pocket just in case. A tiny woman from floral cut clementine peels into flower shapes and left them in a small bowl by the microwave. A guy from the meat counter put a packet of crackers on the edge of every soup they sold. It was nothing and something. It made the place feel less like a machine and more like a room where people looked up. At the bus stop, her hand cupped a clementine. It felt heavy for its size. The air hung with the metallic smell of the road. The automatic doors pushed open and closed, letting out a rectangle of warm light that slid across the wet pavement. She watched the older man push a train of carts into the cart bay, his breath a pale cloud in the cold. He looked up and saw her. He didn't wave. He didn't need to. She rolled the fruit in her palm until the top gave under her thumb, and the peel loosened with a soft sigh. The little oil misted her fingers. The bus's headlights washed the curb in white. She felt the weight of the fruit in her hand. It was small, bright, and real. She held it until the bus came.